Hello, everyone. I am Dan Stapleton, and with me here is Scott Kalura.
Hey, what's up, Dan?
All right, we're talking about Star Trek. There's a new Star Trek show that's been announced for next year, which is pretty exciting because that's the first time that's happened in a decade.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years since we had Star Trek on TV. It's insane, really.
I feel old. How about you?
Yes, more and more every day.
So we know very little about this new show. We know that it's going to announce or it's going to introduce new characters, and that's about
Yes,
it.
that's about it. It's gonna debut in 2017. It's going to introduce new characters, and it's going to be produced by Alex Kurtzman, who was one of the writer producers on the Star Trek 2009 reboot and Star Trek Into Darkness. But that's all we know. We don't really know if it's going to be the Enterprise. Probably not. We don't know if it's going to be in that rebooted universe with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto, or if it's going to be some kind of flashback to the old shows, the old universe.
Flashback forward.
Flashback forward, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
techno babble forward.
yeah. I mean, I think considering who's involved, I would say the smart money and what Star Trek has become in the last 10 years. I think the smart money is it's going to be a show concurrent with the whatever happens in Star Trek Beyond, and probably not on the Enterprise. I think them saying that it introduces new characters suggests that it's going to be an entirely different crew, and
Yeah.
probably not headed by Sulu or somebody like that. If they are, I think they would probably have come out and said that if it was going to be a ship under the command of an established character.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right, and I think I- they might still be figuring this all out themselves, right? That they haven't even finished making Star Trek Beyond. But if you look back at the spin-offs from 10, 20 years ago, they'd usually use a familiar character to kind of pop in for the first episode to hand things off, right?
Yep.
Picard showed up on Deep Space Nine. I think who was it on Voyager? Oh, they stopped by Deep Space Nine on Voyager. The
Yep, on
first
their way
episode.
to the Badlands.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so good old Badlands. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get like a Bones McCoy appearance in this first episode or something like that. But I think you're right. You're not going to get the Enterprise crew because they've already said that they're making Star Trek 4 for 2019. So they're not going to have their movie crew show up on a TV show, and certainly most of those actors are movie stars who don't want to do a TV show.
Yeah, it would be kind of a step down, especially like in the scale of the story they're able to tell with a movie budget, and being able to pay those actors.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think one of the reasons that this excites me is because and I think a lot of Star Trek fans feel this way. I'm sure you would agree. Star Trek really feels like it's a show that it's a property that does better on TV in terms of the type of stories it's good at telling. It doesn't always work as well as a big blockbuster with Transformers levels explosions and stuff like that. It's oftentimes better in this sort of more thoughtful kind of old school science fiction approach, and that's what TV, especially these days in this sort of golden age of TV that we have now, is all about.
Which kind of raises the point that the other kind of really crazy news about this is that only the premiere is going to be televised.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, so the idea is the premiere will be on CBS, and then the rest of the season, and we don't know how many episodes that will be, but the rest of the season you'll then have to get on CBS All Access, which is their on-demand and streaming service, which you have to pay for. I think it's $5.99 a month. So they're trying to drive business to they're trying to get into the streaming game, and they're using one of their biggest franchises to do it. But it's a bit of a bummer that now we have this other service we have to subscribe to. Remember the good old days when you just had to tune into UPN or something?
Yeah, yeah. And between Netflix and Hulu and HBO Go, like it's starting to add up to like an actual cable bill now.
Yes, it is.
It's like I cut my cord for a reason.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Star Trek does have a history of sort of doing this, taking new distribution models and pushing them into the mainstream. The Next Generation, as you know, did pioneered syndicated TV. It was not a network show. Star Trek Voyager actually was the launch show for a brand new network, the UPN network, which is now lost in the Badlands. Whatever happened to the UPN, right? But so Star Trek has kind of pushed in this way in the past, But this is the first time that we actually have to pay for it, and we can't just tune in to a new channel. So
they are boldly going where few have gone before in that respect.
yes, they have.
So, but that's pretty much all we know about this show so far. So for much more on Star Trek as it develops, please stick with IGN.